Hi everyone, it's Linda from Linda's Ease in Arlington Heights, Illinois, here for your Thursday morning video. I have a couple of guests, or one guest in particular, that I'm going to have you come in and watch for a really cute little presentation. But before they start, I want to tell you, I always start with something really fun. And I've had a lot of people ask me, what is BSR? I hear that all the time. What's a BSR? I don't know what it is. What does it mean? Do I have one on my machine? Well, this is the little box that comes. You can order this for your Bernina, depending upon what kind that you do have. And the 7 series, of course, it will fit on, and some of the 5s. And of course, you can definitely use this on the 880 Plus, which is what I love to do. It comes with this wonderful echo. You know, it's a much easier, clearer foot to look through. And then it has this little open part too that you can do your free motion with. And a BSR is called Bernina Stitch Regulator. And what that means is they have literally, somehow these wonderful Swiss engineers have figured out a way that when you're moving your fabric and trying to do your stitches, they're all going to remain even. Now, if you go like this and you're jerking around, of course, that's not going to happen. But when you are doing just your regular motion for free motion embroidery and quilting a top, a placemat, a quilt, whatever, many times we do it with bags or purses, and we use the soft and stable. This BSR, Bernina Stitch Regulator, is just absolutely wonderful. And if you look here, you'll see there's a little plug where it goes right into the machine. It talks to the machine, and that's why we get that wonderful motion. So those of you that have Berninas, we hope you'll be able to use this. It's absolutely a beautiful, beautiful. We do teach it in our classes, and I would suggest those of you that are in any of our clubs. Our club is just the best bargain that's out there. It's only $199, and you get it for over 36 sessions, so I think it costs you about $5 a time. And the information is not like these little snippets that I'm doing. I'm trying to inspire you. Now, sometimes I hope I probably don't get there, but I hope I do. I'm trying to help you to, look at your limits and don't put any parameters around that will stop you. I want you to think outside the box and be able to, gee, this might be something I want to try, or no, I don't like that, but I might want to try this. And that's the purpose of these videos, are to give you something new, something fun, but our clubs are there to do step by step by step by step in teaching. So you can pause, you can do your stitch along with them, you can pause again and continue on whatever program they're doing. My last little thing, and then I'll turn it over to our guest, is this great bundle. I, again, know that many of you have thanked me for talking about this because I personally buy it like this. These are, perishables. It's things you're going to use over and over, like bread and butter. And so you can never have too much stabilizer. If you're an embroiderer, or even if you're not, and you're a quilter and you're doing some work in the hoop, there are times when you really will need stabilizers. Take one of our stabilizer classes. We're going to have that in our clubs too. We'll do a couple. As you notice when I go through some of these videos, I do try to tell you what did I do on this particular garment so that you will know what kind of stabilizer I use. So thanks for joining me, and now let's go have some fun.
I'm first going to start by putting the foot on the Bernina Stitch Regulator. But one of the things I want to show you is I'm going to change the sole on the foot before I put it on. And it is really easy to change the sole. There's 2 little white buttons on the sides, and you press them both in at the same time, and you can slide the sole out that's on the foot. And then I'm going to put the open-toed sole on, and I snap it back on. It's that simple to change the sole. Put that away so I don't misplace it. Then I'm going to plug in the foot, and it goes into the back of the machine. There is actually a special place for it, and it is just next to where your dual feed is. And no, it's not below the dual feed. It's right here. There. Yeah. So it is right next to your dual feed. And when you plug it in, your screen is going to change. It is going to tell you to lower your feed dog, so always believe it. I'm doing that first. And I want to show you on the screen, there's a little lock showing at the top of the screen where my stitch width usually is. And that lock is telling me that I had a straight stitch plate on the machine and did not tell the machine I took it off. I now have a zigzag plate. So if I go in to here and I tell it that I have the zigzag plate on the machine, that lock should go away. Helps if you push the right icon. So the lock is gone. Because when you are doing with the stitch regulator, you can either do straight stitch or zigzag, but you can't do that if you have a straight stitch plate. It will not let you. The foot goes on just like a regular foot, except that it's going to be on an angle. So we're so used to everything being straight, and this one is on an angle, and that is how it should fit. Okay. On the screen, it gives you options, but the first thing you'll see is that our feed dog is now yellow, and it's showing that I've lowered the feed dogs. They're below the stitches, and that's how it has to be, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to do free motion. It tells me that I have foot 42, which is the number of the Bernina Stitch Regulator. It shows that I can have two different modes, BSR 1 and BSR 2. BSR 1, when the machine when you stop moving the fabric, the needle will keep going up and down. And with BSR 2, when you stop, the needle stops. That's all a matter of preference. It also has a lot to do with the experience you have of doing free motion. I like to use BSR 2, so I will change that. I am going to use a straight stitch. Now, the stitch length is not really controlled by the machine. It's controlled by how you move the fabric. And I have a small wall hanging that I brought so I can demo the stitch regulator. And I line it up where I want it. And I'm going to lower the foot. And I want to bring up the bottom thread. So what I do is I do needle down. And I bring my needle to the down position. I bring it back up again. I'm going to raise my foot up. And I'm going to pull my bottom thread up by taking the top thread and the tail together in my hand, and then you can see I'm pulling a loop from the bottom, and that is my bottom thread. That is the easiest way to get your bottom thread up so you can see where it is and keep track of it when you're working. Okay. Now the foot is telling me it is ready. When I press this in and hold it, a red light comes on the foot itself, and when I move the fabric, it moves. When I stop, it stops. That's why I chose this setting with the needle. Now I'm going to put my needle down. Because I want to pivot. And I'm doing it on the line, so I really want it to be a nice clean corner on there. So then I will start it up again and move my fabric. And go to the next point. And bring my needle back down so that I can pivot my fabric again. No, it's there. Yeah, it's there. turned it off by not. It times out so it won't hurt the stitch regulator. It does, so it will time out when you stop. But you can see I'm moving the fabric and it's ready to go. If I want it to stop totally, I can just turn it off by touching the on and off button. You have a lot of options, and it's what you're used to and what you're comfortable doing. Now, if you do this and it talks to you, that means you're moving too fast. And it just means you should slow down. You get better stitches if you just do it all about the same speed. The stitch regulator is something that practice, as anything else, practice makes perfect. And you should always practice on something that is not your final quilt, but the same thickness. So you can see how easy this is for me to just to go around my edges. Now I am using a contrasting thread so that you can see my stitches. Obviously, you're going to choose whatever thread you want to have color-wise. But this is showing you a little bit more. Okay. So now let's say that I want to do some zigzag stitches. And that's also can be called thread painting. And I just choose the zigzag mode on the screen. And you can see it shows me the width. And right now it says it is 3.5. Now I can make that wider if I would like it to be wider. The length is going to be whatever my speed is, and that's under my control. So you can see, and I will turn it so you can see what I've done. I now have a zigzag along the edge. So I am outlining my entire square with the zigzag stitch. So it gives you some variety. You could be doing free motion and use the straight stitch to make like the trunk of a tree, and take your zigzag to make your branches and your leaves. And it's really good for giving texture to what you're working on. Now this is a wall hanging, but a big quilt the same way. And it is a lot of fun because you can really use your creativity. There's nothing here saying it has to be done a certain way. Pardon? Okay. All right, I'm going to turn this off. So you can see how much fun it can be to do free motion. It will, like I said, it does take practice. And we have a special offer. If you really like this size, the 10-inch opening, there is a really good machine, the Bernina 720. And we have a combo offer that if you get the Bernina 720 and then you get the Bernina 850 serger, one of the brand new ones, You'll get a fantastic price, and while we have the supplies, you will also get a free stitch regulator. It's a really good offer and highly recommended. I think you would enjoy it.